Good Thursday afternoon. It is good to be with you in our devotional time. I'm a little late posting today. I had a meeting this morning to talk about discipleship within our larger denomination. In fact, it would seem that my whole day has been focused on discipleship. When I started with my morning devotions, still in the book of Galatians, chapter 2, I was thinking about how Paul, so much of what he did before he started writing letters to all of these churches was really develop this community of disciples. When we think about the disciples, we're not just talking about the 12 apostles that followed Jesus around. We're talking about an intricate network of people who learned at the feet of Christ and then shared that knowledge with one another. That's what a disciple is. And Paul, especially in the second chapter here, the first 10 verses, that's what he's doing. He's connecting with both the apostles and other leaders that have been raised up since Christ ascended into heaven. And he's connecting with them to know exactly who he should go to proclaim the message of Jesus Christ. And so if you look at chapter 2 and you're looking at some of the places he's been, you know that after taking some time and traveling to far off places, he comes back to Jerusalem and he talks with Peter and he talks with Titus and he connects with Barnabas. And then later in the first 10 verses of chapter 2, he's talking to James and John. So there's all these people where he's trying to figure out through them who he should go to deliver this message of Jesus Christ. This morning, my meeting was very much the same thing. How do we, whether we're a pastor or a lay leader, whether we're in leadership or in a congregation or completely isolated, how do we proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ? We are called through our baptism. We are called through the gift of the Holy Spirit. We are given this incredible message of Jesus. We're given the gift of faith, and we are called to share that gift, to proclaim it to other people. When we are told, when we learn in faith, when we grow in faith, and we understand the bigger picture of who God is, that's not something we're just supposed to keep it to ourselves. We're supposed to share that. And I think during this COVID time, there's no better moment than this moment right now to have those intentional conversations. I know I've been really just grateful for the opportunity to FaceTime or to text or to have a phone call. When I'm at Little Church, I love the intentional conversations I get to have with every car that pulls up. It's something Pastor Tom and I have been celebrating for weeks, that in our normal congregational life, as pastors, we hardly ever have this much dedicated time to actually connect with individuals and with families. And now we have found an opportunity in this COVID crisis to do just that. To me, discipleship has become the main fuel for everything we are doing, whether we realize it or not. We are proclaiming light in the darkness. We're proclaiming a peace that passes all understanding and cuts through the anxiety of this world. We are proclaiming the risen Christ that opens our eyes and helps us to see God at work in ways that we might have only imagined or have been limited previously. I think about how often I have heard lately about people connecting, making that phone call or seeing a neighbor. I'm just amazed at how much those interactions mean to me now, more than they ever have maybe. When I see someone walking, I can't wait to say good morning. And before, I maybe wouldn't have been as excited. When my neighbor yells out the window and makes a joke, I am filled with even more joy than I was before, because he cared enough to just greet me. We do that socially, and we're doing that intentionally on so many superficial levels. Why aren't we doing it in faith? Why aren't we taking this moment to call 2 or 3 people and just ask them, how are they doing? What is God doing in the midst of this? What are some hopes and dreams that they have that has been brought to light because of this? And how is God helping those hopes and dreams to come to life? As a congregation, we should do it. As a society, I hope we're doing it. As individuals, we are called to do just that. We all have different language and we have different words, and that's okay. In fact, I think that's what makes faith so rich, that we describe it differently for one another. And that's kind of a cool thing. Just like Paul. Paul didn't say the exact same thing as Titus, and he didn't speak exactly like Peter. In fact, they were very different on certain issues like circumcision and ritual hand washing and food preparation. But the heart of their message was centered on Christ. And that's the most important thing we can do as well. So whether you're a pastor or a layperson, whether you're a leader or someone who's just trying to figure out what this faith thing is all about, you have the ability, you have been gifted to just talk, to just wrestle with, to have conversation, to open yourself up, and maybe be even a little vulnerable, to ask, how is God at work in this moment and in my life? And then for us to be able to ask each other that, wow, I think there's a cool opportunity that's happening right now. And I love that my morning started with focusing on discipleship, and I hope that the rest of my day and the rest of my week is doing the exact same thing. And as much as I hope that for myself, I hope it for you as well. So go, make disciples. That's what Jesus calls us to do in the Great Commission. It's what we're called to do in the Great Commission, to be isolated, but faithfully isolated. Go and make disciples. Make a phone call. Have a conversation. Socially distance. Look at the Word and read the Word together and see what the Word is speaking to each of us. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.